There are so many great teams to rebuild in Madden 23 this year that I decided to break it up into conferences. So today we'll be going over the best teams to rebuild in the AFC. Now we've got 5 to do, so let's get this thing started. But first, an honorable mention, and that is the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have been in playoff contention for a couple of seasons already, but they still don't have their franchise quarterback. Matt Ryan's going to be good for the 2 years that you have him, but during that time, you need to see if Sam Ehlinger or Jack Cohn could be that guy. If not, drafting one is definitely in your future. Jonathan Taylor's a wonderful back, but Nyheim Hines is eating money at the position for the next 3 seasons. Wideouts are young and inexpensive, and the offensive line is tremendous. On defense, they have some big stars, but they're taking their fair share of the cap space. It is a team that has to contend with the Titans for the playoff spot, but would have a tough time moving through a tough AFC playoff bracket. Can you navigate the cap going forward with this team and make them a perennial contender like the old days of Peyton Manning? Number 5. The Cleveland Browns. The Browns may not be one of the worst AFC teams, but I think they're one of the most interesting. If you want to be realistic, you suspend Deshaun Watson and start Brissett or Rosen or even Josh Dobbs at quarterback. You grant Kareem Hunt his trade request. They also have a solid offensive line, but they're going to need new weapons at wide receiver to go alongside Amari Cooper. However, this is probably the only rebuild that I'm going to have with a bona fide quarterback, even after suspension. The goal is just to navigate their cap, to fill in around their defensive stars, to fortify that side of the ball and win games going into January. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are in a really funky spot. They have the potential to cultivate another big 3, with Kenny Pickett being the quarterback, Najee Harris at running back, and Deontay Johnson at wide receiver. You could even add in George Pickens at wide receiver 2 and Pat Freiermuth at tight end, and you could really have a lethal offense. The only thing holding that side of the ball back is the poor offensive line. Obviously, the defense is well documented, and it's a top unit in the league. The DBs outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick will be an issue as far as who to pay and keep and where to get new starters, as only Witherspoon and Wallace are going to be signed beyond year 1. Now is the time to rebuild this team because they have the potential to be really nasty in a short time. And with the way the Steelers run their ship, there's no reason to expect them not to be in the future. Number 3, the New York Jets. The Jets are perennially one of the worst teams in the league, but it's a really young team that needs a lot of development. They could also have a big 3, with Wilson at quarterback, Breece Hall, the Iowa State legend, at running back, and Garrett Wilson and or Elijah Moore at wide receiver, and I quite like CJ Uzomah at tight end. The offensive line, like many other bad teams, is going to need some work. There's some nice building blocks on the defense, such as rookie corner Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, but they're overpaying some players on defense in relation to production, and that will have to be addressed during the rebuild. They're not in as bad of a spot as they had been in previous years, but it is still a fun one to do. We will get to the number 2 team right after a message from my very first ever video sponsor. The NFL season's about to start. Are you ready? I got my Tyreek Hill shirt. I am ready to go. Fins up. Let's go Dolphins, baby. Are you ready for your favorite team? Because if not, you need to get over to NFLshop.com right now using the link in the description and go get yourself some fan gear. Get yourself ready for the new season. I do make a small little portion off of every single sale over there, but you will be helping out the channel, supporting the channel, and getting some cool gear to do it. I think that's a win-win. Get over there right now. Check out their clearance options. Check out some of the new stuff that they have for the new upcoming 2022 NFL season. I am excited. Let's get back to the video. Number 2 is the Houston Texans. The final 2 spots are very close, but I think Houston's in a bit of a better spot due to the fact that a lot of players that are clogging their cap space are going to be off the books in the first couple of off seasons. Their offensive line isn't good, but 5 of the top 6 guys that they have are going to be off the books in 2 years. Same with all 5 of their best defensive linemen and linebackers, and at corner, only Derek Stingley is on the roster after year 2. This means there's a lot of movement in your franchise, and just about every draft you can go BPA, and that's a lot of freedom to have. This team's really bad, but you have a chance to completely reshape it in your image, and for that reason, they're number 2. Number 1. the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, why do I have the Jaguars at number 1? Is Trevor Lawrence a bust? Well, it's your job to prove that he isn't. James Robinson's a free agent after year 1, and the Urban Meyer pick, Travis Etienne, may need to take over. Christian Kirk was vastly overpaid, and Jamal Agnew and Zay Jones are overpaid as well, competing as the number 2 wide receiver after Marvin Jones is going to be gone after year number 1 too. The line is bad outside of Brandon Scherf, and a lot of them are signed past year number 1. And outside of Josh Allen, who is due big money after season number 2, and Shaq Griffin, there's really not a lot of top-end talent defensively. It's a team that you may get to score some points for you, but good luck stopping the Titans and Colts with that porous defense. There's a lot of work to do here. Are you up for the task? Those are my top 5 and 1 honorable mention for possible rebuilds in the AFC this year for Madden 23. Which one is your favorite? What team did I miss? Let me know in the comments. Thank you, channel members, and a special shout out to TClink24 for being a franchise quarterback.
I feel you somehow.